All right, we're going to meet today to talk about some of the practice EOC science data that we looked at. We just took that, and we're going to look and talk about ways that we can maybe do some cross-curricular stuff and apply it to other subjects. And so, Todd,
Okay.
you had done one today?
Yeah, my students on the practice EOC seem to struggle with writing conclusions. I was just wondering if there's any help, to be had, maybe cross-curricular to help kids develop that skill.
It's, we always like to punch on the 5-paragraph essay and just keep it real simple, but there are ways we can work on just building those conclusions, and that, because I can see that might help them focus in more, not necessarily on an EOC, you don't have time to build everything up, you just need specific points, but to
Kind of
build up
make
your
it-
conclusion, make sure it's summed up nicely.
What classes actually make red papers? I do in business, we do a little bit. I do at least in law, so we got law. Do you do any in science? Do you make them? You did the science fair, right?
Yeah, we do some science fair stuff.
Lab report.
We do
My
lab reports.
genetics class does lab reports.
Obviously English, that's all they do.
Report.
English.
Do one, yeah.
Trying to think what else they class. Social studies?
Well,
I'm
social
sure.
studies they do, yeah.
Yeah.
Did
They
they-
write papers.
Social studies.
In your senior year English, you'll have more, you've got a lot of those electives are writing intensive, college writing, college
writing.
speech.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, I think that would actually apply to a lot, enough to where it makes sense to try to do something. So could we make like a rubric for how to do it, like a general rubric, you think? Would that be enough, or would we have to do like an actual activity to like,
Well, does the English department already have a rubric?
We have a rubric for the full 5-paragraph essay, but if we're wanting specifically to work on conclusions, shouldn't be hard to adjust.
do you think a rubric would just be enough, or would we try to come up with an activity?
Maybe just some examples.
Yeah.
I think that one would work. Examples. Maybe activity. So my big thing is, and we've been talking about this for a while, is that you don't want to make teachers feel like you're dumping off their stuff onto them. That's always a big thing I'd be worried about, especially if you're trying to be like, hey, I need help. And I just try to come up with ways that they don't interpret it as us just being like, we're struggling with this, help us,
We had, several years ago, we've come on and off the push of reading throughout the other classes. Maybe, we've had trouble finding.
Yeah, we're good. Okay.
We've had trouble finding the long journal articles that are appropriate level, not too technical, not too simple, but any that we've found, if just having them sit down and write what is the theme, what is the thesis, if they can sum it up in their heads and just write a couple sentences about that, that's going to help them be ready with those conclusions. If they can grab, and writing down reinforces getting those main points out.
Right.
I think that's something too that would help in pretty much most subjects too.
Yeah.
I don't see how that would be. So, was there scientific method? Was that another one that we wanted to talk about?
I think that kind of hits all
Do you think?
the point, because I know on the practice EOC, that's usually the second day, is going through the scientific method. So I know we talked about in social studies, like talking to a psychology teacher about how he implements it, and that way they're getting it in other areas as well. We couldn't really come up with a whole lot of other places that might use it, but
I'm trying to think, at least in my world in business, I'm trying to think if we ever use a scientific method. I guess we could in economics maybe a little bit. We do have an economics unit that we could do. I mean, that's kind of a sciencey. I'm trying to think what else. Economics. You talked about graphing though, and that's something else you guys had?
Yeah. The on the practice EOC, they had to graph data,
Do you
and
feel like,
label graph.
did they struggle with that a little bit?
For the most part, they did. They didn't. I mean, they did fine, but graphing is something that could be incorporated in a lot of different things. It's just a visual that makes information easier to understand. Without having to get bogged down in numbers, you can look at a picture basically and get a quicker, take on what's going on.
I know in the business side of things, we do a stock unit. My management class, we definitely do that for keeping track of stock prices, highs, lows, things like that. We do that. Math obviously does it all the time.
Mhm.
That's all math does. I don't think they need to be.
Personal finance, budget.
Yeah.
Could you do a budget?
Yeah, I never thought. Yeah, personal finance would be good.
Mhm.
Yeah, budget. We do a whole budgeting unit on that. That would actually, honestly, what's cool about that, that would actually help us a little bit, at least in my world, the way I view it. Like if you gave me something like that, like here's something, that would help me do personal finance better, help me do stocks better. Because stocks and budgeting are two of the hardest things, at least my kids actually have a hard time with. They just have no background knowledge whatsoever on stocks. I mean, they see the number on the screen, but they have no idea what that means.
Right.
And same with budgeting. I mean, I know I'm not good in my personal life with budgeting. Are you
Yeah.
good?
No,
at
no,
budgeting?
no.
Yeah, so I think that would be good. I'm trying to think what else we got. So we think rubric, like a rubric for the conclusion one. And then for the graphing one, you think we probably need to check one with an activity? Or like
Yeah.
a template for one that they can
Maybe more of a template so it can be applied in
Okay.
other, I mean, because really you can use graphing just about anywhere.
I agree.
Social studies, you know,
All right.
science, math.
So what we'll try to do is, Brian, you and I will try to work together on a rubric, and then you two can try to work on a template, and then we'll see if it's any good. We'll email it, put it in our Google Drive.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, let's go do this teaching thing.